the same way, like the lower dimension from us is the second dimension. And the only representation we have of the second dimension in our dimension is, I don't know, a shadow.
Yeah, yeah.
So look, I'm 3D, right? And that shadow is a 2D representation of my three-dimensional being. Okay. Now, if that shadow was conscious, it doesn't know that it's just like a puppet based on my three-dimensional engagement, you know what I mean, or actions. It doesn't know that. And it doesn't know that there even is a third-dimensional being, which is being represented, which it represents in the second dimension, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I almost, and I don't believe this fully, you know, this is just a thought experiment for me. I almost want to say, and we talked about it with Peck, like, what if the third dimension is a shadow of the spiritual dimension? We have souls, we have spirits, whatever they're called. I don't know. They're not here.
Right.
You know what I mean? The Holy Spirit's not physical. He's not here. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I wonder how much of what's going on in that supernatural realm, in that higher dimensional plane, is also playing itself out as a three-dimensional shadow. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does make sense.
I don't want to say, listen, I don't say I believe that. I'm not saying that like we are higher beings and this is our lower selves and not that new agey crap. You know what I'm saying? But I just think that that's an interesting way to conceptualize. You know how you're like, that doesn't even make sense to me. I don't even know how to wrap my mind. That's an interesting way to conceptualize it.
Yeah, no, that's a great point, man.
You know? Don't forget, hey,
angels
exist. Angels exist in a dimension, in a realm, in a spatial, what, I don't know what you want to call it. I don't care. But they exist in a created space.
Yeah.
God, angels are not eternal. Don't forget that. They were created at a certain point and in a certain place, right?
Yeah.
God existed eternally outside of that space before he ever created it. He didn't need angels. He didn't need angels.
Yeah. Well, he was not even in that dimension. He didn't have to be in that dimension, right?
He created all dimensions. God is outside of all dimensionality.
It's so cool that he can he transcends through it all too. Like, to come to this dirt, you know.
But who transcends through it all? Jesus.
Yeah, it's insane.
Jesus transcends through it all, or descends through it all.
Yeah, descends. Yeah, and then ascended.
I don't think God the Father. Like, I think Jesus is God's avatar.
That's what I think.
I know that sounds bad.
Yeah, well, he's God incarnate, right? Like he's God
in a form that allows him to enter all dimensionality.
Right.
God the Father cannot. He would implode all dimensionality.
He would all just be destroyed.
All of it. He cannot exist inside of his creation. Right. And when I say his creation, I mean all layers of dimensionality and existence. He cannot exist within any of those. He's outside of that. So he needs an avatar, right?
Yeah.
And I know that sounds bad. That's just the word I'm using.
Well, it's not that the way it depends how you look at it, because it's not about him needing it. It's about him wanting to be a part of every dimension too, you know, without blowing everything up.
For sure. So that necessitates some kind of meat suit,
There's
interdimensional body. I don't know what you want to call it, and I don't want to sound weird when I'm saying this stuff. Again, these are just words that help me kind of understand what's going on. I'm not saying that this is what's happening. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I'm not saying God has an avatar and it's Jesus's body. Like, that's not what I'm saying. These are just concepts, okay, to help me grasp what God's doing and how it's working. This stuff to me makes sense. This makes sense.
Yeah.
You know,
and until you learn something else or something different, you know, this is what's going to be, you know, like in your mind, this is how you can cope with it, right? Because it's wild stuff, man. And here's your option. You either just ignore it.
Yeah. Turn your brain off.
Right. Or you dive into it and then, you know, try to dig and discover what makes sense to you, you know, as much as you can. There's nothing wrong with trying to understand. It's just that when your understanding trumps your like trust, right? That's when I think that's when it changes.
Hmm.
But to understand and to discover the Lord, I mean, that's what, when I read, like the Old Testament, the New Testament, and I'm digging, like I'm reading and I'm asking the Holy Spirit to reveal things to me. I mean, my goodness, man, like there's stuff that I read like this week that I was like, I had no idea this was like happening, I'm sure that'll happen again next week and whatever. One comment on the angels, like because I wrote this down, like the whole we are made lower than the angels. I think it's because it's dimensional. I think that's all it is.
Heck yeah.
And to me, it makes so much sense. And when I first heard that, I think it was maybe Heiser that said that, or I don't know, maybe you said it. I was just like, well, that makes so much sense to me. And it's so simple to me, even though I don't understand dimensions, but I understand that part. It's like, oh yeah, they're just like a higher dimension.
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
It makes and we are limited to our third dimension. They are also limited to the realm they exist in.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
They can't just do whatever the heck they want. There's rule the same way there's laws of physics here and rules that we abide by and exist in, because that holds our dimension together.
Right.
They also have those things imposed on them. But guess what? You know what I could do? I could freaking make shadows in the second dimension. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So in the same way, hey, what if, and you know what else is second dimensional, bro? Hey, you right now on my screen are second dimensional. You're light. I'm looking at you. You're just light.
Yeah, we're just light.
There's no depth. There's no, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And in the same way, my shadow is just the absence of light.
Right.
So there's the interaction with dimensions that we have, like with the lower dimension, it's light. Okay. So what if I took, like what I'm doing right now on this program is I've coded myself via technology into the second dimension.
Ooh.
I wonder if that's what demons are doing.
I like that, dude.
With UFOs and with little gray alien meat suits.
Man, that was
I wonder
fire.
If
what you just
they
said.
From the fourth dimension have found a technology that allows them to engage in our third dimension. Because we need technology to do it in the second.
Yeah. Dude.
See what I'm saying?
That's wild, man. You holding out on me, man.
You're wild.
You holding out on me, man. That was good.
You're wild.
That was amazing.